Hey, how are you? See, I only have Fish Fam shirts to inactive channels. I got the King and Queen Cichlids.com. I got Sergeant Tank. So there you go. There you go. How are you doing? Scotty Aquati in the house. How you doing? I am. Hey, Joe, what's up? Our CB is here. Petro Man 1185. Rita, how are you? I just realized something. I haven't even shared this out yet. What am I doing wrong here? Let me share this out. I'll tell you, I was just about to do it, and I got a call from a friend of mine, actually a cousin of mine, and just hung up with him a moment ago. I just told him, yeah, I have quality time I'm spending with my friends, with a video chat that I do every week. So there you go. And so how y'all doing? It's went to the office, did a little bit of work, took Maggie for a couple of big walks, mowed a good part of my yard. Yeah, life's good. Life is good indeed. It's yeah, it's let me get this one more out here. Get the Fishtubers notifications. If you guys want to help me share it out, that would be great. And I apologize that I didn't get it out before we went on. Doug Gray in the house. The man who used to be the bass player for Van Halen. Yeah, it's I'm about the same height as Michael Anthony. About the same height. Hey, 2 YouTube notifications. Excellent. It's great. So what's going on in your world, everybody? It's I have just been busy getting stuff down and enjoying life very, very much. It's Orchids and Endlers, how you doing? And we appreciate it. Love the likes. Thank you, crew. I am right now doing something, and I don't know if you guys do this, but I don't know if I really trust all my data in the cloud. So I don't buy the extra cloud stuff to update and do that, to update everything. What I do is I go out and I have a hard drive, a couple of removable hard drives that I back up my home computer and my office computer on. And I think it's a smart thing to do. Protects your data, protects your information. Anyone who has had an issue with that type of stuff, yeah. You lose data on something, it's not good. I had a cell phone, an Android phone, which was backed up and everything. It died. And when I rehooked up everything, I lost dozens of phone numbers. And I've rebuilt some of them. There's some of them that I don't. One of the things that I do, I'll give you sort of a work and personal life tip. Doug, this is you're retired, But I will say this, I usually text everybody in my list of people once a year if I don't interact with them. I usually wish them a happy new year, happy Thanksgiving, uh, you know, happy Festivus. Uh, I will send out a note. Everybody who's on my thing, not replaced by AI yet. I know it's shocking. Well, it's Kim Jong Un's birthday. Happy birthday, you homicidal lunatic, Kim Jong Un. What about that kid in the army or whatever? You're 23 years old, just laughing to himself, running across the border into North Korea. Not really that good of an idea. Not good an idea. It's yeah, and Dennis Rodman, his daughter is on the soccer team, on the American soccer team. Trinity Rodman. So there you go. Doug Gray, everybody. Doug Gray, before Melvin comes in and tries to sell you Fish Fam link. How are you doing? Melvin comes in here and tries to sell you on a nice lady from the Philippines, which I'm not saying is a bad thing. Do not, whatever you do not date Kim Jong Un's sister. Just don't do it. Not a good idea. Yeah, it looks like she is, if you do something wrong, like you complain about how long it takes for something or what have you, or, it's, if she asks you, does my butt look big? And you give the wrong answer. Because sometimes you can say, it's marvelously plump. The lady's very happy about it. Then, like the Kim Kardashian types. Then, if you say it's too big, they're upset with you over it. So it's like a no win. So know your woman before you answer that question. Biggies, what's up, Mark? Nonviolent Jersey girls. You see, there you go. Go hang out with them, have some Taylor ham, bring them to Philadelphia and have scrapple. Doug, by the way, I lived in New Jersey. I had Taylor ham. It's just ham. You had pork roll and eggs and cheese for breakfast. There you go. I had Morningstar vegan chorizo, a couple of eggs, a little olive oil, and I got you know what I got? And it was just great. I do this every once in a while. I get that small thing of biscuits, make those in the oven, put a little butter on that. Life is good. So I did that for breakfast today. It was fun. It was strong. Never had Scrapple. I just know it's is this a Pennsylvania thing? Or is that more of a Pittsburgh deal? It is a Pennsylvania thing. Okay. Um, Anybody here from Ohio? I had a coworker from Ohio. Nice. So congratulations, Joe. Yeah, talk about you can set up your fish aquariums in your garage. Perfect. Or in your backyard because it never gets you just have to look out for for reptiles. Ohio is real. Anybody from Ohio? I worked with a guy from Southern Ohio who insisted, but he never brought it in, that a delicacy in Ohio was ground beef seasoned with Dr. Pepper. Has anybody ever heard of that? I don't even know what it's called. And he goes, it's really, really good. And let's see. Oh yeah, it comes up. I googled it. It said ground beef and Dr. Pepper recipe. It's Dr. Pepper and barbecue sloppy joes, and yeah, apparently that's a deal. And yeah, there are recipes all over for it. So I'm going to add Ohio and Ohio recipe. Yep, it is all over the place. So there you go. Oh, and there's another thing of how to make crock pot Dr. Pepper pork roast. All right. So there you go. I think I've had sloppy joe since I was like maybe around 20. Yeah, being close to the water. I love the water too. It's you thought I was 20? Yeah, other than the gray hair and the magnificent receding hairline, I used to work with a guy who went gray at the age of 23. I'm going, what kind of stress are you living under, man? My hair did not really begin to change. And yeah, until I was like in my 40s. And then it was slow. It was like a slow transition, a very slow transition. So there you go. And I'd rather have a full head of gray hair than, and by the way, I don't have a problem with the receding hairline. Doesn't bug me a bit. In a few years, you're going to look like Chucky. There you go. That's nice. Looking like Chucky is a strong idea, strong deal. All the way around. If you were going to go, Oh, by the way, I was going to give tips on guppy wrangling for newbies. First tip, get guppies from someone who has great fish. You can go to a fish club, they have auctions, they have stuff like that. Great place to get guppies. You can get them from Doug Gray. And so there you go. It's that's a great way to do it. Doug Gray has great fish. I have got good fish that are healthy, healthy, healthy. And so there you go. And that's what it's really all about. Is going out and having and doing the right thing and having good fish. That's how you start. I have found with guppies, by the way, for the newbies, a wide variety of stuff of conditions work fine for the guppies. You can keep them at 70 degrees. You can keep them at 85 degrees. It's there's optimal stuff. I keep my guppies. Most of my tanks are at the 75 to 77 degree area. And that's the deal. That's what I do. And it makes all the sense in the world. Also, the other thing, food, good food. Your fish stuff, Ken's Fish. Baby brine shrimp once a day is a really good idea. Frozen food for guppies. Here's what I get, and I use this as a supplement. They don't get them every day. And in fact, right now I've been out for a couple of weeks. I stopped by and they didn't have them. I will get frozen Daphnia cubes and frozen Cyclops tubes. And I'll go and do that. Next time I go to the store, I'll see if they have them. If they do, I'll pick up one of each. And how I do that is that I create, when I put together my brine shrimp thing, I put it in like a condiment bottle. I strain the water, treated water over the brine shrimp into that. Here's the good news. I put one of those cubes in there, shake it up. The fish have a wide variety of delicious stuff. So there you go. Yeah, I got a brand new brine shrimp hatchery. The same one I've been getting, the San Francisco Bay brand cheapo. I like it. I've had it here a couple of weeks. It's working fine. Fish are happy. And I probably should get another one because the one that I've had up running has been up for a couple of years. Yeah, I'll tell you what. You would have automatically thought that COVID would have been really good for especially our hobby, where people were beginning to figure out they were doing a lot of stuff from home, remote working from home. I know people, and I bet you guys do too, that were working remotely during COVID. And after COVID, they never after COVID, they didn't want to go back to work. Yeah, I don't know what the deal is. I would love to tell you what's going on with with our hobby, and there are a lot of people who've kind of dropped out. Um, like Doug was talking about the good people from Thailand, AFTG, had all these amazing guppies, and all of a sudden, they are not around. They are gone. And why is that? I don't know. I just don't know the answer to it. It's I I would love to tell you that I had it all figured out. I just don't. I just don't. I don't quite understand. And I figured out lots of cool stuff to do at home. Lots had to do with shipping. Um, yeah, Joe, you're right on that to a certain extent. Doug and I have talked about it. Before COVID really, I started shipping fish as COVID kicked in. Thank you very much, Fish Family. As COVID really kicked in, I that's when I started shipping fish. And that year of COVID, I shipped a lot of fish. I could not keep fish. I mean, as quickly as I could sell them, I was selling them. And during COVID, a 2-3 day, priority mails how I do it. Normally, you know, 2-3 days, 3 days, pretty typical. Well, once I get into 2021, even if the fish are going to a relatively easy place to go to, it's 3 to 4 days. Um, and I shipped out fish on Monday, and it went to a small town in Iowa. Now, just to give you a geographic stuff, when I ship fish from Joplin, Mo, goes to Springfield, then usually by 3 a.m. it's in Kansas City. 3 to 4 days, anytime, Joe, anytime. And this is doing priority. So I had one that I shipped out, and it was kind of a weird place. Small town in Iowa, outside of the Quad Cities, probably about 50 miles outside of the Quad Cities. And so I shipped on Monday, which I normally do. I prefer to ship on Monday, primarily because Tuesday, if it's a long run, going from there, I shipped on a Monday and they arrived on a Saturday. And, and I'm just going, holy capoly. Then I just shipped fish from here to Fresno, 3 days. I ship a lot of fish to the Northeast, from Maryland to Boston, all along that coast thing. And it's almost a guaranteed 3 days. I'll occasionally have a 2-dayer, occasionally have a 4-dayer. Um, it's and again, it's just, and what I did in my community is that Fishymon 64, hello, is that when I started shipping fish, I would ship after work and I would bring them to the post office. I get done at like 12:30 or so. So I'd get home, walk the dog, I'd pack the fish um right then, and then put them in to be shipped. The fish shipment, I said, well, is this slowing stuff down? So I packed up the night before and took them over to the post office right after they opened up. Well, at my post office, they sat there till the end of the day. I didn't do that mistake twice. It's so really when the fish arrived 3 days later, they'd really been boxed for 4 days. And they were all survived. I very rarely lose fish when I ship fish out. Very rarely. People will let you know if you do that. People are also weird, and Doug and I have talked about this, and I may have brought this up previously. I'm sure I have. When you're shipping fish, everybody, and you're receiving fish from somebody, let them know they arrived. I've had people, unbelievable buyer communication up to the moment where I'm shipping the fish. I let them know they're on their way. Hey, thank you again for the order. Here's what you're getting. And I never hear from them again. So there you go. So there you go. That's interesting, Doug. They've now pushed it back for account deletion. There's going to be a lot of stuff disappearing off of, I think that we're going to see disappearing from inactive channels. It's funny, Doug. My last shipment from Ken's, I got the wafers, the high Muppet. It's well, your comments weren't going through. That is weird. The Swedish Chef, favorite Muppets, yeah. My dad's side of the family is Scandinavian, and that triggers me. Doesn't trigger me, I promise you. So I ordered some stuff from Ken's. The thing that I give my Super Red Plecos. I shipped that off on I bought it like on a Friday or like a Thursday. I got paid on a Thursday. Went from there. Yep, I shipped to Florida. I ship anywhere in the continental United States. I generally have not shipped, even though people say it's perfectly fine to ship to Hawaii or to ship to Alaska. I have not. I do all the states in the continental United States. I have sold to every state, but I can give you a few of the state. I haven't shipped to Vermont. I've shipped to Miami a lot. It's I've done North South Carolina, I've done Mississippi, I've done Alabama, Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Virginia. I've not done West Virginia. I've bought fish from West Virginia. Um, Idaho, Montana. I'm pretty sure I've shipped to North and South Dakota. Yeah. Hawaii needs a certificate for import. Yeah, you know what? Yeah, by the way, I love Hans discus. Discus is a fish, kind of a bucket list fish. I love discus. The water, I would really have to go on a treatment run here in Joplin, Mo, because my water is pretty hard. Or Jack Watley, now Jack Watley is retired. He passed away, right? If he didn't, I apologize. Um, yeah, that was the question I was going to ask, Doug. Are those discus still good? Now, the guy who took over Jack's business, I think, had been his assistant for a long time, and I think the guy's Puerto Rican. Yeah, Gabe. Yes, yes. And now I just made a mistake. I assumed Gabe was Puerto Rican, but he's in Southern Florida. Could be Cuban. Could be Dominican. Now, my ex-wife, everybody, was a Mexican American, and Rita, I get it. Trust me. Yeah, setting up more aquariums. Yeah. Um, and there's a lot of Colombians also in Florida. So my ex-wife, you know, we were around people from Uruguay, Paraguay, Colombia. It's Puerto Rico, the Dominican Republic. Yeah, I should double down, try to marry Yannick Garcia. Yeah, I like her. She seems nice. Melvin! Hey, Melvin, we had a question, a Pennsylvania question. And have you ever had scrapple? Scrapple, Melvin. And if you've had it, isn't it good? It's yeah, well, obviously is a legend from all right, Muppets. Okay, lurking is good. I like lurking. I lurk. I lurk a lot. So I'm on my backup of photographs right now into my hard drive. And on my photos part of it, I'm transferring over. Now, I won't obviously copy over stuff. No, scrapple is something that it's like a pork concoction that's apparently real big in Pennsylvania. Maybe it's a Philadelphia thing. I don't know. Scrapple a food. And and let's see here. It's the Dutch from the Pennsylvania Dutch. It's pork mush that's fried up with pork scraps, trimmings combined with cornmeal and wheat flour, often buckwheat flour and spices. So there you go. Sometimes called panhas, Pannhas, or Ponhoss, something like that. It says it's strongly associated with Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, Eastern Pennsylvania, New Jersey. I lived in New Jersey. I never saw it there. Maryland, Delaware. When I think Maryland, I think crab cakes. It's Scrabble, two B's is the board game. Scrabble. Played that when I was a kid. Was good at it. Letters, but big words. You've had it, Fishymon 64, not a fan? I'm all in on trying something once. It's I'm the type of guy who goes somewhere and I'll pick up something I've never had. And even at a place go to on a regular basis, I prefer that. It allows me to, because sometimes you never know. You never know. Oh, well, that's delicious. Oh no, it's not that delicious. I'd rather go in, figure it out, and go from there. And if you try something new, that's all good. Because human beings, yeah, trying, I very well could be. I'm worth trying it once. You know what I had once, and I'm not a big fan, and some people just love it. Is grits. And I lived in the South. I mean, the real South, and grits were everywhere. I've had grits several times. Not a fan. I won't go out and get grits. It's I just am not a fan, and I wish that I could go and I really, really, really like them. Really, really like grits. I mean, didn't like them. I ate them, and I would eat them again. Just checking my Aquabit ad. We have to reform it because it's like I don't know. It's like all of a sudden having problems reading my HTML. Yeah, grits. The other thing is they go, "Oh, put enough cheese in it." I never had as a kid, and now that I'm an adult, I had them, and I love them. Uh, Brussels sprouts, love them, like little teeny cabbages. I also love okra. Excellent. Well, fantastic. You like the magenta mystery snails? That's nice. Okra Winfrey. Yeah, roasted Brussels sprouts. I make, and I may do that today. I make sort of a stir fry thing, and I put on top of brown rice. I make like 4 meals at once. Eat one and throw the other 3 in the freezer. And you have a big orange mystery snail, nice. And I'll tell you, I am a fan. I am, a real fan of that. Okra, I've got okra and I've got frozen yellow and zucchini squash. Put that in, I fry it up. I have some Asian sauce. I think I have a sesame sauce that I haven't opened up yet. Make that 4 meals all at once. That's what we do. What I like about it is that you made 4 meals all at the same time. I will tell you, I was talking to a buddy of mine who used to come to St. Louis, Missouri a lot. And he, Coral Works. No, you're not late. Well, yeah, you're late. But the important thing is you're here. You're here. That's the important thing. And anytime that any of you can be here, I appreciate. I'll tell you what, I understand that movie is so painful to watch, even if Margot Robbie's in it. Even though Margot Robbie's in it, I like her. She's pretty. And the ladies want to go see that Ryan Gosling feller. But he's taken. He's married to Eva, whatever her name is. Meet me in St. Louis. Meet me at the fair. Yeah. It's so the deal is about Missouri is that sort of like that land between the Midwest and South. In many ways, it's not quite either. It's sort of its own thing. It has some similarities to the South. And I've lived in 2 deep South states. I lived in Alabama and in South Carolina. And I love them both. They're great places. But there's sort of a different vibe in those places. Uh, we don't have here what they would call in the South. It would either be called a country cooking place or a soul food place. And the food is exactly the same. So you go into some of these places for lunch and you get a meat and 3 sides. And the 3 sides are, corn, mashed potatoes, okra can be a part of it, greens. I love myself some greens. It's collard greens. I never had it in the North. And I love me, if the collard greens are really good, and you will dance the hoochie coochie. It will be your tootsie wootsy. There you go. It sounds like the thing. Is that from the movie Meet Me in St. Louis? Which I've never seen. I guess I probably should. Kansas City. From my feeling of St. Louis. St. Louis. All right, very good. I am the one thing I've been to Kansas City and St. Louis about the same amount of times. Has to rhyme with hoochie coochie. Yeah, you see, there you go. Or what they would say is alliteration. Some alliteration there of the English language. So my impression, and I've not spent a lot of time in Kansas City or St. Louis, but I've been there each place about the same. Kansas City comes across as a city that has, quote unquote, more happening, even though I think St. Louis is a bigger place. St. Louis, because of its diverse ethnic makeup, I don't understand why they don't have an NBA team. I don't understand. They got a hockey team and a baseball team, but you think that would be a community that would be made for the NBA, but not so. Select Bet. Well, there you go. I do. The Cardinals. Except the St. Louis Cardinals are not playing very well. Not playing well at all these days. Yeah, it's every time the Royals really stink. Considering the division that the Cardinals are in, if the Cardinals can go and win, 7 out of 10 games from now to the end of the year, they easily could be in first place. Because the Brewers and the Reds, not that good. And the Pirates, sorry, Melvin, not so good at all. They're crashing. And the Cubs aren't very good. So there you go. Hey, my favorite team, my beloved Minnesota Twins, in first place, but only 2 games above 500 in the AL Central. Not so good. And the Twins ownership, Their longtime owner was a man named Carl Polad. Carl Polad died 20 years ago, maybe. No, maybe not that long ago. And one of his sons is a movie producer, Bill Polad, and Carl. Let me see here, Minnesota Twins, and they've been owned by the Polad family, going back about 40 years. And again, the Polad family are the owners. Joe Polad is your deal, and Carl died about 14 years ago at the age of 93. So now they're saying Jim Polad took over the team. I don't know. There's so many of them. And so there you go. And yeah. Oh, it's a nephew now runs the team, Joe. So there you go. Yeah, I haven't been to the new stadium. I want to go. I was going to be up in Minnesota this year, but they decided they didn't want Maggie to have puppies. So I am not going to be in Minnesota this year. My deal was to get up there and hit a Twins game. It's I love baseball stadiums, by the way. I think I've mentioned that before. I haven't been to them all. I haven't been close to them all, but I've had the fortune of going to many, and going to a great. There's something wonderful, even if you're not a baseball fan, of going on a beautiful sunny day, sitting in that crowd, smelling hot dogs and popcorn and peanuts and the pretzels, all those great smells. It is absolutely my favorite things. Now, the sad thing is I have long COVID. So you've only been to two stadiums? Yeah, and they're gorgeous to go to. It's great to just see as many as you can. I'll just tell you, um, the so I have long COVID. I still cannot smell, and it has been 10 months since I got COVID 10 months ago. And I was only out of the office for like 5 days. I mean, I tested negative. I popped a negative pretty quick. But I was vaxxed and the whole bit. Now the sad thing is about COVID. Correct, Rita, sometimes it is. Yeah, trust me, Doug. I've thought about that. It's I'm going, I hope I don't smell. Hope my house smells normal. You can't tell. I have mowed one battery of my yard this morning, and yeah, you can't smell it. You can't smell grass, fresh grass. Totally one of my favorite smells in the world. Until you lose your sense of smell, it's now I know people who are sight impaired. I used to work with a guy who lost his eyesight when he was really young, when he was like 2 years old, and so he had some tumors pop up and take away his sight. And that being said, um, I now that I'm a man without this, having a scent, I've often thought to myself now, just going, wow, smelling or seeing, what is the best? Because, smelling dinner, going into a restaurant and smelling the great food. Oh, I mean, it's not fun missing out on that. Not fun at all. And, in my opinion, part of me in my head says, you know what I really wish? If I was going to lose a sense, the sense of eyesight would be probably easier. But who am I? It's who am I? You have eye issues. It's frustrating. Yeah. Well, I'm sure it is, especially once you lose your your sense of something. It's it is a real deal. So I can taste, but obviously taste is aided by smell. So yeah. So it's yeah, I can taste to a certain extent, but I can't I was at a friend's house, and he poured a glass of bourbon in a brandy sniffer. He goes, "Really smell it." And so I said, "I can't smell anymore, but let me try." No, nothing. Tasted good though. Tasted good. Hey, I'll tell you what. By my office on like Wednesday, there was a homeless woman, uh, topless in one of the corners, and she was high on something. And yeah, she was high on something. And Yeah, you gotta love. So someone sent. See if I can download this thing. Yeah. Ooh, I think it's gonna let me save it, so I'll send it to you, Doug. Just just to go from there. So yeah, life's good. All right, gang. Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys for being here, and we will be back next week. So again, thank you, thank you, thank you.